everyone, and thank you for joining me for episode 3 of I'm Sex Positive with DCBeings. On this episode, we are talking everything self-pleasure and solo play. Why is self-pleasure so important? How do we move past the stigma and embrace it? And how does it relate to sexual wellness? I will also be sharing some of my favorite ways to get in the mood and touch myself during solo play. I will also share my experience with Get Checked DC and confidential at-home STI and STD testing. So to begin, what is self-pleasure? Self-pleasure is all the ways that you touch yourself, genitals, otherwise, to give yourself pleasure. And so I just want to do a little bit of a background on the stigma related to self-pleasure, just from like my own experience as a Black queer fat woman. So growing up, sex education was a lot of just focused on penetration. And so I think for a lot of folks with vagina, that's kind of our first experience of learning of pleasure is in sex education, and it being very penetrative. You really don't learn any of the other ways that you and your body can experience pleasure. I think we also see a lot of like marginalized groups in which bodies are worthy of pleasure. So a lot of times you do not see trans folks, fat folks, dark-skinned Black women, folks who are disabled. Those bodies are not seen as being worthy of pleasure. And so that also creates a stigma around how those folks, including myself, experience pleasure. And then that is related to the issues of white supremacy, so patriarchy, fat phobia, transphobia, colorism, and it just impacts who we see and who we believe is deserving of pleasure. So growing up, being fat, Black, young, and queer, I did not see myself, and I was not shown images, representations, depictions where my body was worthy of pleasure. And I think that has a lot to do also with the history of Black women and pleasure in the United States. So during the slave era and even beyond that, we had the images of the mammy, and it was this woman who was like not a sexual being at all. And at the same time, we saw images of Black women as animalistic and hypersexual. So you had these two competing stigmas of Black women. And in both of those images, the pleasure of Black women was not centered. And so for me, it's a lot of moving away from these stigmas, the stereotypes, and reclaiming my own sexual pleasure through solo play. So I talked a lot around the stigma associated with solo play and self-pleasure, particularly from my experience. So first, I just want to say that if you are disabled, Black, queer, trans, fat, any of the marginalized groups where you did not see yourself represented in sexual pleasure and sex, period, that your body is worthy and you are worthy of pleasure. And a lot of times how we figure out the pleasure that we want and that we crave is through solo play and self-pleasure. And so what are the benefits of self-pleasure? First, it elevates your mood. You release serotonin and dopamine when you touch your body. You have better partner sex. So this gives you the opportunity to learn your own body. And so you are able to talk to your sexual partners around the things that you like and the things that like make you excited and make you orgasm. I can say that. Self-pleasure is also the safest type of sex there is. STD and STI prevention, because you are having sex with yourself. And so here, I just want to plug my experience with Get Checked DC, which gives at-home confidential STD, STI, and HIV testing. I thoroughly enjoyed my experience. It was so easy It was super quick to do. It probably took me all of 5 minutes to do all of the tests, and they are super quick with getting back to you and getting your results, and it's all free. So visit the Get Checked DC website and you can access at home, confidential, super fast, super easy, and reliable STD, STI, and HIV testing. Self-pleasure also increases your confidence. So when you are in tune with your body and you know your body, that definitely shows, and it definitely is a mood booster, and it definitely boosts your confidence. And finally, it feels good. Like, I think people should touch themselves because it feels good. And there is nothing else to add to that because it feels good. So how do I like to prepare for solo play, and how am I reclaiming my own self-pleasure? So first, I love to set the mood. I like to be comfortable, at ease, no interruptions. Phone goes on do not disturb. I like to be in the bed, the shower, whichever setting is comfortable for me in that moment. I like to wear something that makes me feel sexy, so maybe some lingerie, or I go completely naked. Videos, photos, or creating a dream scenario just to get me in that mood. So maybe like a sexy photo of a partner, a video that I saw online, or just creating a dream scenario of like someone that I know. I like to grab my water-based lube and my toys. I have really long nails, y'all, so I don't really use my fingers that often because of my nails. And because of that, I have various toys that assist me in my solo play. So back in May of 2020, I dropped a video with DCBeings doing a sex toy haul, but I will also talk about a couple more of my favorite toys in this video. So I love a penetrative toy. So it's just like, this is like your classic glass dildo, and you can use it for anal or vaginal. I also love impact play toys. So you can see here, this is my spike, and I can basically use this across my skin, different levels of intensity. The more I press, the more intense it gets. And this is great because like I am in control of like the intensity, and how like aggressive or not as aggressive I want to be. And then I love a clitoral stimulation toy. So this is just like one of my clitoral stimulation toys, and basically put the clit here, and as you can see, has a little tongue, and so when I press these different settings, the tongue moves in different ways, it vibrates. And I will also link all of these toys and the video to my sex toy haul with DCBeings in the description box below. So share below how you are reclaiming your self-pleasure, or fun and sexy ways you are participating in solo play. Also, as a reminder, and you can find all this information in the description box. Also in the description box is your reminder that voting is open for the DC Being Awards. Visit www.sexualbeing.org to vote in categories such as Queen of the Ballroom and Biggest Mouth. And as always, follow DC Beings on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at DC Beings. Until next time, bye y'all.